You are listening to Radio Ramadan 365 podcasts.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamualaikum. You're listening to Radio Ramadan on 87.7 FM Glasgow. This is Maimuna, and in the studio with me is Shabina. Assalamualaikum, Shabina.
Walaikum assalam, Maimuna.
It's lovely to meet you again. We're meeting every day. This is, alhamdulillah, really nice.
Oh, I know, and we'll be meeting for the next, I think, 30 days to come, inshallah.
Inshallah. I
Looking forward
wonder
to that.
what the listeners are doing. Are you driving? Are you sitting in your house? Are you walking about outside, listening to Ramadan? Whatever
On a
you
normal day, I would say they're probably sitting down with a cup of tea, just waiting for our show to come on, and then, sip at the teas and listen to us as well and enjoy the show. But again, we're fasting, so
That's right.
obviously they're either mothers who are sitting in their cars, dads
A
sitting in
busy
their
hour.
cars,
Yeah.
going out to pick up their kids, or they're busy at work, or they're busy at home. So hopefully, inshallah, you're enjoying the show and ready for another new topic for the day, and you're going to love today's topic. Today's topic is very nice, and it'll be a good topic to listen to. So stay tuned.
It'd be really nice to actually get feedback from the listeners, because that's the only way growth can happen. So it'd be lovely if you were to send in an email or a phone call or a Facebook message,
Or an Instagram message, anything.
anything, to let us know you're listening, and also what you think. What do you think of our show? How we can improve it? What else can we add into it? That'd be really nice, inshallah.
Inshallah. Just before we go on to our next topic, there is something that we would like to announce in regards to our charities, which we are doing this year. So Radio Ramadan is supporting a number of charities this year. You can go to www.radioramadan.scot to find out more. In particular, we have partnered with Aghosh UK to provide aid to the people of Palestine. So if you can please listen into that, and do go on the website and see where our charities are lying and do support us. That would be, very, very welcome.
Jazakallah khair for that, Shabina. So we'll now move on, inshallah, to our first little slot, which is everyday people and their achievement. And the reason why we're doing this is so that people listening in can listen to everyday people who have achieved something and think, okay, well, that's a bit different, or oh, I was thinking of doing this, or my son or daughter were thinking of doing this, and someone else has done it, and maybe be inspired with that, inshallah. So
Inshallah.
we'll just go on to that, listen to that, and we'll come back, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sajid Qayyum, and I'm head of production at Caledonia TV Productions Limited. So what got me here? I would say that my original degree was many, many years ago in biochemistry and immunology, and I realised that I didn't want to work with test tubes. I'd rather work with human beings. And I harboured desire really for the media for quite some time. It was the lack of Muslims that were in the media around about early 2000s. And there still is very few voices in the media that are the Muslim voices. So I felt a need to kind of pursue a career in that, and managed to get into this fantastic course, which led me towards Caledonia TV Productions, which is an independent television production company. But for the last 25 years I've been there. I've worked across productions in ITV, Channel 4, and of course BBC. In fact, we're producing a BBC documentary at the moment as we speak. So the path was motivated by my desire to, for more Muslim voices to be in that field of media. And that's been a bit mixed, actually, through the years. It's been some successes and some failures, but I have to say I've been at many tables where I've been the only Muslim voice, and to be honest, I've actually been the only non-white voice on many occasions. So it's been a struggle. For sure. The media is a very tough field to get into in the first place, and even when you're there, as a small independent company, we rely upon our ideas and getting ideas commissioned from the broadcasters, which is always tough. Like any small company, you have struggles. It's not been easy, but alhamdulillah, there've been some really fantastic programs I worked through the years with for everything from historic Scottish productions to documentaries about cooking and recipes and traveling. More recently, we 3-4 years ago, was very pleased to produce 2 documentaries. One about young Muslim and Scots, being young Muslim and Scots, where we follow 3 young Muslim Scottish people and the challenges they face today. And then a couple of years later, we made one about Boots and Beards, the fantastic outdoors group with Naveed Baksh and Kashif. I produced a documentary about them and their success, and one of the most successful documentaries we've had in BBC to date. So it's there have been some real highlights in through those years, and it's been a privilege to work with people and to be in those scenarios where you can be the Muslim voice. Alhamdulillah, it's been a fantastic journey. In terms of advice, I would still say to youngsters out there, do consider the media as a career. It doesn't have to be front of camera. People think often that you have to be a presenter to be in the media. People often think you have to be a producer or a director. No, I got in through sort of my management skills in the work I did with the Islamic Society of Britain and Young Muslims. And that's the key area which I work in now. There's a lot of areas which are required to make television documentaries and to make broadcast content. And I would say definitely follow that through, because there's still not enough Muslim voices there. We need more Muslim voices to be representative, to have a say in the kind of documentaries we want to make, and to have a say about how they're shaped, and indeed what is even shown on broadcast and air. So I would definitely say there's a need for more. And if you can get in there, it's tough. It's tough going when you're in there, but the benefits, alhamdulillah, when hundreds of thousands of people see your documentaries on screen and message you to say what a wonderful time they had watching your programs and how much they enjoyed them and how much they were inspired by them and learned from them, then it makes it all worthwhile, and it's a fantastically creative career. It's one which at the end of the day you get the chance to get your voice out to hundreds of thousands of people, which is amazing by any measure. So that's my story. Sajid Qayyum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome back to the show, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the inspirational person before this, and actually took inspiration from it. So now moving on, we're going to be introducing the topic of the day, and this is quite an exciting topic. It's bringing in couples and talking about their lives. So we are diving into the topic that resonates with many of us. The real lives of a married Muslim couple and their journey through finance, home, children, and life. And you might be wondering why. It's actually for people to listen to this and learn from other married couples. You might find insights that might help you at the stage of life you're at, or later on you might think, okay, that was a great idea. So how do couples navigate the challenges of marriage, balance financial responsibilities, raise children, and evolve together from the past to the present and into the future? So we're really talking about from the beginning of their journey to the future, to whatever future they're at, and then their thoughts about the future as well. To give us first-hand insights, we have Jabaar Ali and Ruksana Jabaar, a couple who will be sharing their personal experiences, lessons learnt, and advice for a successful and future marriage. Assalamu alaikum, Ruksana.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And assalamu alaikum, Jabaar.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you both?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. First day of Ramadan, so alhamdulillah.
Okay, so we're quite at the beginning of Ramadan, and we haven't quite got through the 30 days yet, but inshallah, I hope Ramadan is blessed for us all. How do you feel about coming on the show today to talk about your life?
Yes. Interesting topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to be able to share your experiences, and you do it in normal chit chat with friends and family anyway. So why not widen it a little bit and see if it would benefit anybody else?
No, it should be very useful for all listeners that we can share our life experiences which benefit each other.
No, Jazakallah khair. Really, really appreciate that.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, Jabaar and Ruksana. Thank you for coming to the show.
Couldn't say no to you, Shabina.
Oh, thank you so much. And we all realize that obviously everybody has very fast going and busy lives. But thank you so much for coming on today on such short notice. But let's get on to the questions. So tell us a bit about your life together and how you both came together.
Well, Jabaar and I are actually first cousins. So kind of growing up, from a distance, because Jabaar was in Pakistan, I was here in Glasgow. So we obviously knew of each other. Our mums were sisters, my mum being the younger one, but we'd never really met. Because when I went to Pakistan, I was very young. So to be honest, I barely kind of remembered, very, very kind of vaguely. So as we got older, things kind of revolved around the chat that sisters have about history and everything. So ours was an arranged marriage, but with consent. That's how I would describe it. So there was no kind of pressure of nahi zaruri karna hai because it's sisters. The two have to get married. It was they kind of put it forward, and we kind of looked at it and thought, where is this going to go? For me, it was very different because I had been brought up here, and also there was an age difference, which for me was a bit daunting, I'd say. But then,
so do you want to share the age difference or?
Yeah, no problem. We have a 10-year age difference. I'm 10 years younger than Jabaar.
Oh, mashallah. Well, Jabaar, you still look young as ever.
That because of her age, I look younger.
So where did it go from there then?
Yeah, actually, I just want to mention a couple of things before we, take it further. Because there was a huge difference in our both cultural, societies wise and the brought up wise. There was a huge difference, and when the parents decided, so I was very apprehensive, and I thought that whether I don't know, she was brought up in Glasgow, and I'm just from a village. So whether we will be able to cope or not. So then we decided to meet. So we meet in Islamabad and Lahore. She came there with her parents. But I will just tell you a small incident which will let you know all the details what happened actually. So I have very close friends, 4 friends in Islamabad. They were my class fellow, and we were one group. So when they heard that one girl is coming from Glasgow and he's going to, speak to her and, would be fiancé. So they decided to come in and they asked me that we want to invite her on dinner. So she was in Lahore that time and we were in Islamabad. So I asked her mother and father both that they of friends and they want to invite her for dinner. So they agreed, and ultimately, to cut short, in Lahore and Fortis Stadium, there was a restaurant they called there, and she went with me for that dinner. So before the dinner, one of my friends, he asked me, can we go out for a puff of cigarette? He was speaking. He was smoking. So I told, okay, I will go with you. So I went with them outside, and then they never allow me to come back. So they were three with Ruksana, and she was facing them. And they told her my background, that how conservative I am, and what I'm earning, and will it be enough for her or not. So all the, I mean, negative points, I mean, they put across her. But I will salute her that she listened very carefully, and she was very determined. And she, I mean, you, last thing I will tell you, that they told her that, oh, burqa pwa dega for. So that was the background. So you can imagine that in that background, when you decide to get married, so what mindset you have. But anyway, when we got married in 1986, after that we decided to go out. I mean, to live not in Glasgow and not in Lahore. So we thought it's better. I mean, it's a third place we can develop our own relationship and bond, and that worked very well. We went to Oman and we spent our prime time there, and we have. I mean, we became quite close in that time.
That's such an amazing story, and it's such an unusual story, Jabar.
Very
And I'm sure
unusual.
the listeners are also intently listening to what was going on for you at that point, Ruksana, when you were left in this restaurant, surrounded by his friends, telling you about everything about him. What was going through your mind, and what was the point where you thought, actually, do you know what, this is the man for me?
I think initially I was quite scared because not knowing the surroundings, not knowing the country as well as obviously somebody that's living there, I was a bit apprehensive. But because I knew the background of his friends, these are friends that they have gone through medical school together, and they have gone through medical school together. They have lived together in dorms. And they've been to the UK. They come from a wide kind of social background. I think the thing that not scared me, but I was questioning a bit is, they were showing all his negative points, and these friends were his friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, they're sussing me out here. They're trying to say, is this? They're doing him a favour, but they're also doing me a favour.
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to stay or run?
Yeah.
Exactly. They were telling me about, he's going to keep you in Alipur. There's machi. Sorry, machi. Sorry, beg your pardon. There's machar. इसने जनाब आपको बुर्का
There must be machi as well there. There must be machi and machi. Yeah.
So I knew a bit about what angle they were coming from. They wanted to make sure they were looking out for him, but they were also looking out for me. Because now that I know them so well, I mean, they've been to all three girls' weddings, and now that I know them so well, I know the depth of their friendship. So yeah, and I found it quite cute, to be honest. And I think from there was a couple of questions that I had when we came out of that meeting, because I think more than me being worried, Jabaar was very worried because they didn't let him back into the restaurant. And he was like, oh my goodness, is this girl from Glasgow now going to run? And I've lost her. So
that's such an interesting, honestly, I've never heard anything like it. But those friends were obviously very, very good friends. They're lifelong friends,
yes.
and obviously stood the test of time. So alhamdulillah, you then made up your mind and you thought, okay, this is the guy for me.
I didn't make up my mind there and then. We decided what would happen because, as you know, sometimes when you're in Pakistan, you're under immense pressure from other sources to make a decision. So we actually decided, no, this is not what was going to happen. What was actually going to happen is I was going to come back to Glasgow. He was going to be in Pakistan, and I was going to decide. He had already made up his mind.
Okay.
He wanted this to happen, but he wanted me to make up my mind. And what he said was, if you decide that this is not for you, all I want you to do is write me a letter or let me know, because in those days there was letters more.
Of course, yes.
Let me know and I will not let the blame fall on you. I will take the blame and say, I don't want this. So nothing will be said to you. And I found that actually, I think that was the pull for me, because there was no pressure.
Yeah.
And then I did get a letter. And in that, I put some details of things.
Here that letter is still with me.
It's just so sweet. And Ruksana, listening to that, for him to say that I will take the blame for it, that also would have been a sign of a man full of honor.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
And those were the points that actually helped me decide that there was no pressure, even though my parents were asking me, his parents were asking him, his sisters were asking him. He said, no, just go back, take your time. There's no time scale on this. You want to take a month, 6 months, a year, you decide. The decision is yours.
Okay.
And that for me was a winner.
Okay. So obviously you got married, alhamdulillah. And so you got married. So we're moving quite fast now.
That's fine.
How many kids do you have?
Okay, so we have, alhamdulillah, we have 3 girls.
Mashallah.
Oh, there we go. He says 3 princesses. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick ad break here and come back and then continue on with your story, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to 87.7 FM Radio Ramadan. I'm your host Shabina speaking, and we have Maimuna with us as well, and especially our special guests Jabaar Bhai and Ruksana. Welcome back to Sparkling Insights. If you're just tuning in, we're discussing marriage, finances, home life and raising a family from a real couple's perspective. Our wonderful guests, Jabaar Bhai and his lovely wife Ruksana, have been sharing their experiences and wisdom with us. So if you continue with the discussion, we're looking at, what kind of experience you had living in Oman when you got married, when you left from Pakistan, or whether it was the UK, to go there and settle, and especially having your children. What kind of changes and challenges did you face?
To be honest, our life in Oman initially for me was emotionally quite difficult, because I had left my family here. So it took me, I would say, probably about a year before I was kind of settled. But after that, I would say being in Oman was the best experience of my life. The skills I gained there, the friends I made there, having the girls there. It actually groomed me, or started the grooming process of actually who I am today. I think not having the influence of my family, not having the influence of Jabar's family, it gave me and Jabar the time to find each other, to understand each other. And don't get me wrong, it's a roller coaster. It's up and down, different cultures, different thought processes, but you find each other, you find a happy medium and you work on it. And we were able to do that within our own kind of space, without any influence from anyone. And now when I reflect back on it, I think, wow, that it is important that couples have that space and have that time to try and work through things, because they're 2 totally different individuals.
So I just want to add a couple of things during Oman's stay. There was, apart from my daughters, they were brought up there in a very Islamic and Pakistani mahal. But the main thing I want to mention is that when my younger brother died in an accident, so my mother was alone in Pakistan and we brought her in Oman, and she lived with us 7.5 years. And Ruksana looked after her so much that I was absolutely tension free, and she was happy with us. And she, so much so, she died, in Oman, and we took her body back. So 7.5 years she was with us, and that was, before that, we decided to come back to Glasgow, but because of my mother, she was living with us and she didn't want to go anywhere else. So I decided to stay there. But it was her credit that she really, sort of tackled this situation so nicely that everybody was happy, and he was, very, very happy with us there. Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala give her ajr for that. But it was her, who managed that.
Another thing that I think I really benefited from being in Oman was giving girls a very balanced base, because I was always a great believer in taking the good from the East and taking the good from the West and trying to instill that in their upbringing. And you learn that very quickly, that every child is very different. Every approach you use for every child is very different. So you have to be adaptable. And being in Oman gave me that space and that time to not only bring up the girls there or for them to have that base, but also to improve myself and to learn new skills.
Actually, there was two things in our mind, which I believe very strongly, that if you want to empower a woman, you should not compromise on two things. One is her education, and the other one is her financial independence. And we worked on both these things. Around these things we worked, and we brought them up, and we didn't compromise on their education. And Alhamdulillah, they are on their feet. All are professional, and they are doing very well. So that was the main idea behind this effort.
So it sounds like Oman was a little like a nest for you both, where you had, safety and security and warmth, and you got to know each other. You had your children there, your three daughters, mashallah, and your experience there in Oman sounds amazing. And it's just so beautiful the way Jabaar Bhai is, complimenting you, Ruksana. It's just so beautiful, mashallah, mashallah. The way you looked after his mother, and that really came from his heart, and that I really felt that myself as well. And I'm sure that our listening into this also are thinking the same. Subhanallah.
It's all about sacrifices, and I think if you make sacrifices for each other, then every relationship is beautiful in everyone's eyes. So mashallah, very nice. We'll go on to the next question I wanted to ask you was that we always have some kind of things which linger on the back. So Ruksana, tell me, who do you think was more stricter, you or Jabaar Bhai, when it came to household and living things, or even with the kids? How I was the stricter person in my house. And tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, definitely. Even if you were to ask the girls, there came a time where the girls would say, we sometimes think our father, being from Pakistan, we thought that he would be the strict one with us growing up, but it was the total opposite. I was very strict from a very young age. I was very into discipline and routine. Honestly, if they hear this, they'll be nodding their heads, going, "Yeah, that's my mum. That's my mum." So I was the strict one. Because I think when we moved from Oman after 14 years and we brought the girls back here, I was more aware of surroundings. And I thought, you can't pull the wool over my head, or over my eyes. So I was more aware of things that were going on here. Alhamdulillah, we, through different, again, it's all about adapting. We always say, oh, the kids need to adapt themselves, and the kids need to change, and the kids need to do this. See, as parents, so do we.
That's really interesting, Ruksana. So that's something that our listeners listening in as well will be thinking, okay, yeah. So it's not just the kids that need to adapt; it's us as parents as well.
तो मुझे अपने बेटियों का ना एक फिक्रा बड़ा अच्छा लगता था. मैं वो आपको उर्दू में ही बताता हूँ कि वो कहती थी कि पापा, हमें लगता है कि आप यूके से हैं और मामा पाकिस्तान से.
अक्सर औकात हमें यही कहा जाता है.
or we didn't compromise on two things. They know their limitations belonging to a Muslim family and our background, so they know the limitations very well. And but with those limitations, they were independent.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like they had a really good balance and they knew their boundaries as well.
As a parent, I always say there's no right or wrong way. You know, you're not brought up knowing what to do as a parent. You learn from your own mistakes as well. You know, as a parent, you will make mistakes and you think, maybe I could have dealt with that in a different way. Maybe I could have used a different tone. Maybe I could have approached that in a different way for each child. And you know what? That's what we try to do. As parents, we came from totally different backgrounds, totally different cultures, but we tried to use that to benefit us. And don't get me wrong, there were times where we would clash and we would have to then sit down and think, okay, how do we go about this? And you know, you can try, but like I said, it's not only the kids that we should dictate to change. I think we as parents also should adapt our tone and the way we approach subjects, whether it's in this country or anywhere else.
That's great, Ruksana. Moving on to the next question. Now that obviously you went through the hardship and the lifetime of the kids growing up, them going through nurseries, going through schools, coming back to the UK, and then the kids going into universities, finishing their education. Tell me, what was the next step that you were looking forward to, or would say that was challenging for you and you both had to sit down and think about it?
I think the next step for any parent, whether it's girls or boys, once they've completed studies and gone into their professional lives, is the very touchy topic of marriage. I'll be very honest with you. I actually thought that at that stage, Jabaar and I would clash, because I thought, he's from Pakistan background. Is he going to push for the girls to be married to somebody in Pakistan? I'm not saying I was against it, but I wouldn't say I was in favour of it either. It was very much a case of it would depend on what the girls, where their thoughts were going with it. But I honestly thought this is going to be a battle that I need to try and tackle in a very sensitive way. And you know, he
So
absolutely.
you were expecting, so you were expecting some sort of a clash.
Yes.
And you were,
Yeah.
you were kind of worried and scared.
Yes, 100%. 100% I was, because I thought I'm going to have a battle on my hands where I'm going to have to side with the girls, because, you know, I didn't want them to make choices on pressure at all. And I knew that if Jabaar did say to them, they would listen to him and they would do it, but they might not have been happy.
Alhamdulillah, we consider ourselves very lucky that we got very nice and very understanding and caring relatives as in-laws of my daughters. Nothing great having three loving daughters who takes care of you very well. I will give you a little example. They are so close to me that last year I was just going for Umrah, and Ruksana and myself decided to go. But then my daughters say, "No, Papa, you are not going alone. We are going with you because you have just came out of, a big mile of your illness." So that way they care and just very very touchy. I never felt like so proud of them that they take care of me. So at that level,
Mashallah, that's amazing.
Alhamdulillah. It's always a blessing to have children who can, be looking after you and taking care of you and thinking about you all the time. So that's a blessing on its own, Jabaar bhai. And I know where your feelings are coming from here, and as for you as well, Ruksana. And I'm sure that when the girls are listening, they're going to be very, very proud that they have parents such as yourself. Obviously, things do come and go. Things happen now that they were married, and I know that they're in their homes, they're with their families, they're with their partners. They've now, mashallah, got children as well. So now, where do you find yourself in that situation, and how do you think they're coping with everything?
Obviously, it's a very difficult thing to give your daughters away. I think for me, it's probably, if I look back in my life, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I'm actually getting emotional.
Yeah, I can hear that.
But alhamdulillah, 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 we have been blessed. And Allah Ta'ala must have been looking out for us, but we have been blessed with 3 of the most amazing son-in-laws.
Mashallah.
We couldn't have asked for anything more. But now that they are married and alhamdulillah in their own homes, they now understand more of how did our parents do it.
Yeah.
They understand the financial side of it. They understand the emotional side of it. They even turned around to me and said, Mum, how did you marry someone from Pakistan and go and actually live there for a while?
Mm-hmm.
So because now they're going through that kind of time in their lives themselves.
Lived experience.
Absolutely. They now are able to relate more, which actually has brought us more closer. I mean, we were always a very close family, but you know what it's like having grown children growing up. But, we are much, much closer now with the girls, with the boys. And now, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, we have 3 absolutely adorable grandsons.
Mashallah.
And honestly, the best thing ever. You love your children, but it's true what they say. You love your children, you really do, but you love your grandchildren more.
I've heard this so many times, Ruksana, and it's something, if people haven't experienced yet, then inshallah that's something that they'll look forward to. And I can see the joy on your face when you talk about your grandsons, mashallah.
Yeah, it's just a different feeling. I think with your own children, you're spending so much time and effort bringing them up that you do enjoy them, but your grandchildren, you actually really enjoy every moment with them, every laughter, every play day, everything, every little thing that they learn, you really, really enjoy.
I think my daughters, all 3 of them, Ruksana is the role model for them. I mean,
Mashallah.
that's I'm telling you from bottom of my heart.
Oh my goodness, where did that come from?
Because I see that how they think about that, and they don't only acknowledge it, they do appreciate also that the effort she has made for them. So this is why I'm really proud of her as well, that it is mostly her effort that they are on that stage now. But alhamdulillah, we are very lucky.
Mashallah.
Oh dear, where did that come from?
So, I can see you getting emotional, Ruksana, but we started our chats from when you were all young, and both of you were young, and your journey together as husband and wife, and we've listened to your journey, and I wish we had more time to go deeper. But what are you thought? Have your thoughts changed as you're getting older? What are your level of energy, and the way you enjoyed each other's company when you were younger, has that changed now? What are your thoughts around sort of as you're growing older?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think when you're younger, you actually are not prepared for when you get older. I think we actually take it for granted that we're always going to be this energetic and this lively. Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through hurdles of whether it's, ailments and health and, different things in life they do take their toll on you. And you do have to prepare. I'll say that you do have to prepare for these things. Like at the moment, the girls live on the other side of the city. We live in the opposite end, and 3 of them are now married. Now, I wouldn't say there's pressure on. I wouldn't say that, but there is thought. The thought process has now started. Whereas before, I was digging my heels in about us actually moving nearer to the girls and their families. It's something that they want badly because they want to be in a position where they can, be near us. And
Pop in and out. Pop in and out.
Pop in and out. And I think we're now in that stage where we're like, actually, that would be really nice.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वी आर डूइंग वेरी वेल, बट एक मेरा शिकवा है थोड़ा सा रुखसाना से ना,
जी
वो ये है कि मैं कभी जब आता हूँ ना हॉस्पिटल से, तो मुझे फिर ये कहती है कि मैं आज बहुत थक गई हूँ, मुझे एक चाय कप बना दो. So then I say that, oh, I have been very busy, so same for me. But then she will say, आप जो है ना अब तस्बीह पकड़ ले हाथ में. So I object on this sentence.
So that's a lovely, actually, a snippet of your loving interaction between,
Yeah.
the both of you, mashallah.
She's
That's
hint
beautiful.
saying that please take retirement. I need you more.
No.
दो तस्बीह.
But it's also, sounds like there is might be another move in the near future somewhere, another move in your life. Again, being, sort of around your daughters, and again, just thinking about them. I mean, a lot of children, a lot of parents think, well, our kids are now settled. Now we'll move away somewhere, abroad. And live the rest of our lives, but alhamdulillah, you're still there for your daughters, and your daughters very much want you as well, and that's actually beautiful. Okay, so I think that we're going to have to wrap up now, unfortunately, and I wish we had more time. Any last thoughts?
Yes, please. Any last thoughts that both of you can share with the people listening to you right now, and give them some kind of hope that they will achieve the same kind of steps that you've gone through in life?
I would like to share is there's no right or wrong answer, and there's no book about parenting, about life. I think having the ability to adjust and compromise, and to a certain limit, and listen to each other. I think listening to each other is a very, very strong tool, and also being able to change yourself and adapt to the needs of others also. That doesn't mean you become a pushover. It doesn't mean you lose who you are. Actually, you actually develop more. What I'll say is, you see, people that knew me before I got married, I was a very shy, timid individual. I literally, the person that actually brought me out my shell was Jabaar, because, and that's the thing that you need to understand is, every situation, every phase you go through in life, you need to think and you need to adapt towards that.
Okay, so there's a lot of adapting, a lot of changing that you've spoken about, Ruksana. So, that's something that, hopefully the listeners will benefit from. And Jabaar bhai?
I'm totally agree with her, and it's a big compromise in between, belonging to two different backgrounds, but you can convert this compromise in a happy compromise if you have some thinking, and if you want to take it further, this relationship, and you have patience and you have understanding, that compromise become a happy compromise.
Okay, so you've actually spun a really positive note to compromise. That is, compromise can be beautiful, and having understanding towards each other. Jazakallah khair to you both. As we conclude today's discussion, we extend our deepest gratitude to Jabaar bhai and Ruksana for sharing their personal journey with us. This story is a beautiful reminder that marriage is not just about past or present, but about growing together towards a meaningful future. And we've seen that and heard that today from their story today. Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair to you both.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
having
much.
Thank you for having
No, Jazakallah khair to both of you, and thank you for staying with us and sharing your life's, challenges and journey. Thank you to the both of you. Before we sign off, let's us leave you with the final heartfelt thought, one that connects us to the most amazing individuals in our lives, which are our parents. Your parents are your doorway to Jannah. Honor them, cherish them, and make dua for them always. Until next time, Allah Hafiz from Shabina Kamran and Mamoona Chowdhury. Stay blessed, cherish your loved ones, and keep sparkling. Fi aman Allah. Allah Hafiz.
It is when our plans go wrong that wonderful, unforeseen things are allowed to occur.